Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode, and today we're going to be taking a look at something that you requested, and it's basically what happens with the whole Scroll of Resurrection thing. That's the save game transfer feature between the 3DS and the PS4 version and vice versa, so I'm going to show you guys. So sorry for the shaking, I'm actually just holding the camera here, so I don't have my tripod or anything. Anyways, you go visit any church and then you select this particular option, and I'm going to show you exactly what happens. Alright, sorry about this. So he's going to talk to you a little bit and he's going to explain how this works, and you're going to get a code. And this is super shaky. There it is. Okay, so with this code, you are then going to transfer that into the PlayStation 4 version, which is something I'm going to show you guys right now. So once you're in the PlayStation 4 version of the game, or the 3DS version, it doesn't really matter, you're going to eventually get to this. And these three options have to do with your adventure log. This one is the Scroll of Resurrection. So that's what you're going to want to do. It doesn't matter which way you do this. You're either going to get the code in the PS4 version to transfer to the 3DS, or you're going to get the code in the 3DS version and transfer it to the PlayStation 4. And I figured we'd do it this way just because it's easier. So now you're going to enter in the same code that you were given in the 3DS version. And we're going to do that, and I'll be back as soon as it's entered. Okay, when you're sure you have it correct, all you got to do is then hit this button right here, and you're going to see it's going to load. And I'm going to explain how this all works. So they're basically telling you where you're at in the game, okay? And you'll see that this particular function isn't quite as impressive as it's touted to be. It's not the end-all be-all. And you'll see why in just a second. Well, this is kind of strange, isn't it? And if you don't know what's about to happen here, I'll let it play as I explain, okay? So essentially, this is after the Calamity event, if you don't remember. So there was the big Calamity event with the World Tree, and you basically, like, everybody's dead, right? Like, there was a fundamental seismic shift in the game. And so before that event, you can actually transfer most of your stuff. It basically gives you a rough equivalent of like gold and level and some of the equipment. Now it's meant to be a Scroll of Resurrection. In other words, it's not meant to be a save transfer, and I think something got lost in the translation there, where a lot of North Americans believe that you could take your save data from one game and transfer it over to another, and that's not at all what this was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like a little, almost like a gimmick type of thing, where you could take some of the progress that you had made and transferred it back and forth, but it wasn't meant to be like a straight one-to-one. And as such, it was almost like you could get to a certain part in the game and then continue in the other version of the game for extended periods of time. This was not meant to be a back and forth, you know, thing where you're shoving your data from one game to the next game to the next game to the next game. That's not at all what this was meant to be. And you're going to see it here, because in the 3DS version, what I just showed you guys, that was the post game. I had already finished the main game, and I had already finished all Nelson's trials and everything else. And yet here we are at the halfway point of the main game. And this is where the Scroll of Resurrection's usefulness runs out. It only covers up to the Calamity event of the game itself, and that's it. So it doesn't go beyond that, and that's why I'm saying this isn't really like the most incredible feature ever. I think there has been really a lot of misinformation out there, which is why with the 3DS version not coming to North America, it's really not the end of the world. It isn't like the end-all be-all type of thing. Alright, come on. Just let me move around. Now I want to show you guys, like specifically want to show you. Oh, they're not going to give me anything. Okay, so check that out. So I'm level 35 here. The gear that I'm wearing isn't even, is like nothing fancy. I basically don't have anything. Well, this is all part of the game, so I don't really want to, oh, I'd have to. And so that's it. So it's kind of useful for the early portions of the game, but once you get far in the game, this transfer feature, this Scroll of Resurrection, really isn't all that useful. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, this is really cool, this is like the first time this has ever been done. And yeah, it certainly is a really... How do you go down? There we go. So cool, yes. I think it's been overplayed. Basically, I don't think this is the end all be all. Like I said, I think this is something that was just a neat little gimmick, and that's pretty much it. There's really nothing else you can do here. If I go to a church right now, and I get a code and I put in the 3DS version, it's going to take me exactly here. It's going to bring me right back to like this point, which is kind of crappy. You know what I mean? Like, essentially I will have lost, like, oh, I don't know, like half the game. So there you go. That's just a quick look at how the Scroll of Resurrection works, and it's okay. It's okay for the early portions of the game, but it's completely useless once you get past this portion of the game. It just stops working. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to show you just really quickly how this worked. This was a request from Ahmed, so I was sort of looking forward to making this to show you guys, and that's pretty much all it is. This is how it works, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to say, well, this is garbage, and it is kind of garbage. It's it was just an okay feature, but it's really nothing special. So that's it. I'll be back with another video of Dragon Quest XI showing something else in the next couple of days. Alright everyone, take care.